Hey everyone, today we are going to talk about kingdom fungi. But first, let's have a review on our previous lesson. We learned about protist, kingdom protist. If you remember, we say that they are eukaryotic single cellular organisms. Their cell structure is complexer than the bacteria cell because they got organelles, and they are mostly unicellular, but sometimes they can make colonies like this. They can live with each other, they can make a cover around them, and this structure is colony. So according to this structure, we can say protists can be multicellular as well. And also about their locomotion and movement, we say that they can move with the help of pseudopod like amoeba, or with the help of their flagell or tail-like structure. By moving that tail-like structure they can move, or with the help of cilia or hair-like structures that they got all around them. By coordinately moving that cilia they can move. About their reproduction, we say that they could reproduce sexually and asexually. Their asexual reproduction is binary fission, which is more common. It means they are commonly reproducing asexually, which is binary fission, in which one cell, as we can refer them as parent cell, can divide itself into two daughter cells. And about its types, we say that there are three types of protists, like animal-like protist, plant-like protist, and fungi or fungus-like protist. So let's see what we are going to learn today. Today we are going to learn about fungus or fungi, which is one of the kingdoms belong to eukarya domain. First, we are going to start learning about their characteristics, then about their structures, and about their classification. Be with me till the end of the lesson and learn that stuff. So let's start our lesson with the characteristics. First of all, about its name. Fungi is the plural name and fungus is the singular name. If you want to talk about only one structure of fungi kingdom, so we can call it as fungus. Their cell type, if we compare the cell type of plant, animal, and fungus, according to the presence of cell wall structure, we can say that they are plant-like. It means fungi cell is a bit like plant, but the only difference that they got is there is no chlorophyll. It means fungi do not possess chlorophyll. That's why they are not completely plant-like, and because of the absence of chlorophyll, they are heterotrophs. Means they have to get food from the other organisms. That's why they are decomposers. And the thing which is making fungi plant-like is like their cell wall, but the structure or the main thing which made their cell wall is different. For example, the fungi cell wall is made up of chitin, which is a kind of polysaccharide, but the plant cell wall is made up of cellulose, which is also a kind of polysaccharide, but their structures and components are different. So that's why their cell wall structure is different. And also fungi do not possess chlorophyll. That's why it can be a bit different from the plants. And so basically we can understand by the structure of the fungi that they are eukaryotic. As you can see, inside their cells there are lots of organelles, and also their nucleus is covered with a membrane. And multicellular they are. It means mostly we have 4 phylums for the fungi kingdom, which are mostly multicellular. Only one phyla is unicellular, which is yeast, that we are going to talk about. And usually in moist places we can find fungi. It means in warm and moist environments their fungi can grow. And the other thing is about their reproduction. They can reproduce sexually and asexually, but with the help of spores. It means if we notice their structure, we can see almost all of them got cup-like structure, and this cup-like structure are able to produce reproductive substance which is spore for them. It means they can produce spores or that circular structures by dispersing or by sending the spores to different places. They can reproduce, they can make exact copies of themselves everywhere that they want. And in sexual and asexual reproduction, in both sort of their reproduction, they are reproducing with the help of that spores. About their other characteristics, we can say that they are decomposers of dead organisms. They are decomposers. As you can see over there, fungi are inside a trunk of a dead tree, for example. They are decomposing it. They are using the food materials or compounds which is inside that trunk. So as decomposers, they can use fallen leaves in fall or autumn season. The yellow color leaves could be a good source of food for them. Or feces, the solid waste materials or waste substance that animals are excreting can be one of food source for them. And also organic materials. I mean, all the components which contain carbon inside of it is organic material, and these fungi can use from that sort of materials. And about their digestion or the way that they are getting food, we can say that they got a structure, a filament-like structure like this. Its name is hypha. The hypha main function is to make the main body of the fungi, and also the hypha can secrete some enzymes, some acids, digestive acids or digestive enzymes for breaking down the food particles into smaller one. As in human, we got stomach. We are ingesting food, and inside our body, food is getting digested, or we can break down food particles inside our stomach and intestine. Then after digestion, we can use it. I mean, after breaking down the food particles, our body became able to use it. But in fungi, they are digesting food outside their body with the help of that filaments. Okay, these filaments are releasing some enzymes and acids. These filaments are absorbing or digesting food particles outside their body, then absorbing useful particles only inside. So that's why their main structure which are helping them to digest food or get food is hypha. So, fungi can be parasitic. It means they can cause two different illnesses to plants and animals. So, in this picture, we can see that fungi are grown on different part of different animals. They are using or consuming these animals as food source. They are using these animals. So, as they can make that animal sick as well, and it can be human parasite as well, in human body parasite as well. It can cause different diseases to human as well. But sometimes they can support other organisms for living. For example, the lichen structure. Have you ever noticed that leaf-like structure on trunk of some trees or walls or somewhere else? In this structure is a combination of algae and fungi. As you can see, the hypha structure which belongs to fungi. So in here, in lichen, they are benefiting each other. They are just supporting each other for living. For example, the algae function is to produce food. Like they are doing photosynthesis. If you remember, in plant-like protists, we say that they are like green algae is one of them. And this green algae is able to do photosynthesis. So in lichen structure, again, algae is doing photosynthesis, producing food for itself and for the fungus. And the fungus or function is to hold that algae toward the light or toward the sun or in a place, for example. So as you can see, algae is covered with the hyphas. They are living with each other. They are making that structure. The structure name is lichen. And this is showing that fungi are not all the time parasitic. Sometimes they can help other organisms for carrying on their life processes. And also sometimes they can have mutualistic relationships with some things. For example, over there you can see that fungi are grown on like root of some trees or branch of some trees. Sometimes the root cannot absorb nitrogen. Nitrogen is something important for the plants. So they can get that nitrogen with the help of that funguses attached to themselves. So this fungus is absorbing nitrogen for the plant, and plant is giving the carbohydrate that it made for after photosynthesis. So they can also leave such this. So now let's talk about structure of fungi. How is their structure? First of all, let's analyze the structure. They are made up of hyphas. They are made up of long filament-like structures that we can call it as hypha. And this hypha function is, as I told you before, it can secrete or it can release some digestive acids, digestive enzymes in order to digest food outside, and it can absorb the food particles inside the fungi body. And also a mass of hypha is being called as mycelium. It means lots of hyphas. When we count lots of hyphas in one place, when we can see it, we can call them as mycelium. And also, as I told you before, they got a cup-like structure. Their cup-like structure is their reproductive structure. It means these structures are able to produce spores. And I told you before that they are reproducing with the help of the spores that they got. So, finally, let's talk about their classification. We can classify fungi to 4 phylums. First phylum is zygomycete or bread mold, the mold which is on bread. And in this picture we can see another mutual feature that fungus got with the plants. Like, as you can see, they got root-like structures, but they are not exact root, they are root-like structures with the name of rhizoid. With the help of that structures, they can attach themselves to some places. It can be soil, like mushroom can attach itself to the soil, or it can be the rhizoid of that zygomycete, which is bread mold. With the help of that, it can attach itself to the bread surface. And also they also got like cup-like structures by which they can produce spores. By sending that spores to different portions or different part of the bread, they can reproduce, they can grow new fungi, for example, on that place. The second is ascomycete, which is yeast, or the kind of fungi or fungus we are using in bakery. For example, in baking bread or different kind of doughs, we can use it. So we say that this is the only phyla of the fungus which is unicellular, which contains only one cell, and by one cell they can do all the features that they want to do. The third phyla is basidiomycete or mushroom. The mushroom that we are using, it can be poisonous or it can be edible as well. And as you can see, they are also contain like hyphas and mycelium structures, a cup, which is their reproductive structure. And the fourth phyla is deuteromycete, that we are getting penicillin, which is a kind of antibiotic. So that was all about fungi. I hope you learned, and thanks for being with me till the end of the lesson.